Hey guys, as an audience, you have spoken. You liked Jeff Borders and our live stream last week, so we're inviting him back into the studio to do a series on his book, The Antichrist Playbook. And I spoke with Hayden and Jackson, the guys over at Plain and Precious Publishing, and they've agreed to give unique access to Ward Radio listeners for the first week and a half before the book is released. So make sure you check out plainandpreciouspublishing.com. Purchase your pre-order of the book there before anybody else gets them. And make sure you check out the launch event. Details will be in the description below.
Be the best, you gotta beat the best.
Flattery really is the antithesis of encouragement. You are trying to get somebody to do something for you.
It's not the problem.
That's totally not what they're talking about. Yeah. And look, I don't know.
I don't know. Bringing up the big dog.
I don't know John's heart, but I can just tell you that this kind of smacked of a little bit of a counterfeit. What does he try to get out of this? So.
To beat the best.
Got our scripture notes up and running. All of the scriptural references used in this episode will be brought to you by scripturenotes.com. For a free trial to Scripture Notes, please visit the link in the description. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Word Radio. I'm your host, Cardin Ellis, and today I'm joined in the studio by Jeff Borders, author of the new book available at plainandpreciouspublishing.com, The Antichrist Playbook, a guide for young saints to avoid deception and defeat the devil. He's inoculating you against niceness culture and wokeism. All right. And I'm just kidding. I don't know how to summarize this book well enough. But you do have a really interesting chapter on flattery. So I know in this episode, we wanted to cover your chapter on flattery. And in the scriptures, oftentimes it talks about the Antichrist and the enemies of the church and so on and so forth using flattery. But that's always just never really hit home with me.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like most anti-religiosity nowadays is shame-based. Like, they'll want to shame you and twist the true nature of the doctrine of the church, saying, oh, well, you're not Christ-like unless you accept body positivity. And it's like, well, no, actually, I think if I have a friend that's struggling with, this issue, I don't want to lie to them and say, oh, no, this is beautiful, because it ain't going to be beautiful when you have diabetes, as Jillian Michaels said, right? Yeah. We want to be truthful, and truth is a virtue as well. Now, obviously, you don't want to be a jerk as you're administering truth, but, there has to be more of a balance here. So I feel like I'm not confused, but I would seek clarity from you as an author. I feel like nowadays, when I read the scriptures and it talks about flattering Antichrist, leading away lots of people astray, I'm like, what is he telling them, that like they're just so good looking that they want to go with a guy that says they're good looking?
Yeah,
no.
That shirt makes your eyes look really beautiful now. Follow me.
That's not the problem.
That's totally not what they're talking about, and I don't think that's actually what it was.
Okay, so illuminate me. What is that actual? What does like flattery leading people away from the church actually mean?
Well, in my book, I point out that this might come in the form of platitudes, things that feel they're nice and sugary, but they are not worth their salt. Like, they don't mean anything. And if all of a sudden you're pumping up people with these kind of vague platitudes, you can get them to do a lot of stuff. Hey, take my course for $250 a month, and I'll teach you how to affirm yourself and say positive daily affirmations, and you are authentic, and all these different things. And people are like, yeah, it resonates. Like, there's something about platitudes that resonate with people.
No,
with
I'm
the
just
weak.
kidding.
You need to be based. So, and when you hear these things, sometimes you're like, yeah. It's resonating with me, but what is the person trying to get out of them? Because you're offering these vagaries. So,
okay, so why didn't they just say platitudes then? There was a word for that when they were translating the scriptures. Why didn't they just say platitudes?
That is a good question that I don't know the answer to. There was probably more involved with the flattery. It is, and I point this out in the counterfeits, like, flattery really is the antithesis of encouragement. You are trying to get somebody to do something for you. Encouragement, you're trying to get them to become better, right? So you want them to become better, and you'll lift each other in the process. But flattery, you're really trying to win something from somebody. When I tell you that Ward Radio hat really accentuates your chin,
that is not how I sell my merch.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
like, what are you trying to get out of this?
But if I were,
what's Jeff trying to get out of this? What is he trying to get out of this? So that's where it's at. And I think that I have an example in here. It's a video from John DeLynn, and look, I don't know. I don't know.
Bringing up the big dog.
I don't know John's heart, but I can just tell you that this kind of smacked of a little bit of a counterfeit flattery type. Thing
okay,
going on.
Interesting. So I assume you put in the Discord.
Yeah,
huh?
it is there.
Okay, cool. So here it is. Gift of Mormon. The Gift of a Mormon Faith Crisis. Is that the one that you want me to put up? Okay, so here it is. A Gift of a Mormon Faith Crisis by one Juan.
This faith crisis you're going through, if you're going through it, it's the greatest gift of your life. And even though it's incredibly painful and you will sacrifice relationships.
You can just stop right there for a second.
Okay.
The faith crisis is the greatest gift of your life. Now, I have to stop right there and go, what is he hoping to get out of this?
Well, hold on. Also, you can't say that this person is a victim that deserves all hands on deck in terms of deferential treatment and so on and so forth due to this faith crisis. And you can't talk about how it's so hard and difficult and earth shattering. All right. I mean, some difficult things can be actually blessings in disguise. I do get that.
Sure. Absolutely.
But like you can't be saying how horrible it is and how great it is simultaneously.
Yes, you can. They
to
do it all the
different
time.
audiences. All right. Like you can't be telling them like, oh man, you're going to be maltreated here.
And he's about to do that.
He's
about to do that.
Oh, don't tell me.
No,
he
he
is.
will.
Oh, okay. All right. So we just keep playing it.
Yeah,
or
go
what?
keep playing it.
Okay.
And you will suffer in many ways. The gift that comes out on the other side truly is the best friendships, the best marriages, the best identity, and the most joy you could ever imagine.
But none of that is true. None of that, like self-reported happiness, like statistically not true. Even gay members are happier in the church than out of the church by almost every single metric out there, except for apparently one tied to children. Apparently, if you have more children, it's more stressful. So that's kind of funny. And all
I don't know
parents can
anything about
understand
that
one. Yeah. Dude, Jeff Benyon, Timber Harward, you can talk to all these faithful dudes that have compiled all of the statistics, just like Skylar has and some of these other guys that I podcast with. And I mean, it is absolutely crazy. Like mental health by literally nearly every single measurable quantifier is far better, not just better, far better amongst active members of our faith than people who have left under the auspices of whatever, including a faith crisis, right? So as a guy that supposedly says, I can't even talk about John DeLynn anymore. It's just like, because none of it is true. It's like he got his doctorate in order to just legitimize the pseudoscientific social progressivism he wanted to spout.
Yep.
Not realizing that just ends up with empty fire hydrants. I've lived through this before, okay?
And here's the flattery part, right? He's saying that, guess what? It's going to be better for you. You're going to have so many better things. And he keeps talking about this. I mean, you can keep playing it. So,
which one is it that your faith is going to drive you to self-delusion and it's going to be all over for you, and that Mormonism is pernicious because it preaches brokenness, or this is great?
Well, like, I mean, you have to drive the first so that you can get the money to build them back up after their faith transition.
Dude. Okay, let me see. Hold on. Let's go back. I don't want to take him out of context.
No, don't take him out of context.
Oh, here we go. But none of this is true. What did he say?
And you will suffer in many ways. The gift that comes out on the other side truly is the best friendships.
Except for they offer no community.
There's no community.
Even John DeLynn himself in our debate on Jubilee, which didn't air, this confession didn't air, at least I don't think I saw it, was that the ex-Mormon community struggles actually making community. It can't do it. It has one toxic subreddit that's
Weird.
number one Reddit.
Weird.
And then that's it. So the only thing they can do is commiserate in the most hateful and toxic anti-Mormon language online. And when I asked RFM, one of the top 10 anti-Mormons out there, Sean McCraney, another anti-Mormon, asked, what responsibility do you have to people after you tear down their faith? Because that's all your channel
Yeah,
is. All John
absolutely.
DeLynn does is tear down faith. All RFM and Radio Free Mormon and Corbin Valouz do is tear down faith. So what responsibility do you have to them afterwards? And they said none. Like literally none. I'm free speech, and they gave some cop out, and it's like, okay, so you can destroy somebody's faith, leave them out in the cold.
Didn't he say, I'm not my brother's keeper?
Well, that basically,
Yeah,
in a roundabout
basically.
way, and that's what I called them out on. So okay, so statistically, none of this is factual.
No,
On the
absolutely
other
not.
side truly is the best friendships, the best marriages, the best.
But no, Latter-day Saint marriages are far better. All the statistics showed that if you get married in the LDS church, especially if both people are active and your temple sealed, there is a small minority of people that get divorced multiple times that drag the Latter-day Saint average down closer to the national average, but it's still almost 10% higher. According to like the 15 different studies that have been done on this over the past 100 years, right? And if you're married in the temple and both are active and you do not get divorced, it's far higher than the national
Absolutely.
average. So this is just like
This is blatantly false.
this. Yeah, this is a blatantly false statement.
Yep.
Identity and the most
The
joy
most
you
joy.
could ever imagine.
That's assuming-
if you'll just
sorry.
lean in.
You can pause it there. That's assuming that I'm not getting joy in the church.
Well, I think
You get the
maybe
best.
that's
But what is the
colloquial-
best joy?
How do you quantify joy? You can have self-reported happiness in a lot of these sociological studies. Okay. But like joy, is he talking about like the thrill of coffee? The
Right.
thrill
What
of
are you
booze?
talking about?
Because let me tell you, one thing that community advocates for big time is trying every drug you missed out on your first 25 years
Yep.
of Mormonism. Geez. Okay.
Into this. But the biggest gift of a Mormon faith crisis is the rest of your life, because all of us were captivated under undue influence by false pretenses. And so when you escape from a high demand religion,
Escape?
you are
What?
You are held hostage when you escape from a high demand religion.
Dude,
Undue pressures.
that's literally like saying when you escape from the gym that you voluntarily, well, that's a bad example because I swear it's harder to quit a gym membership than it is the Mormon
No, you don't
church.
get out of those.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
You don't
that's,
get out of
that's a
those.
very bad example, right?
It's like a timeshare, man. You're
But
never
it's
getting
like-
out of that.
Charlotte Barnes said it better than anybody. She said, yeah, our cult is so difficult to escape. The only thing you have to do to escape the cult is sleep in on a Sunday.
Yep.
You know, it's pathetic. These claims, and it's so destructive because it makes young people think that they're really in something really insane. And it's said, like, people don't realize the term con artist actually used to mean a confidence man.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. Absolutely.
Through confidence, you would say things just so confidently
And people will believe you.
that people would believe it because
Yep.
the systems of verification were so minimal. And the sad part is John DeLynn is a con man. He says things like this that are factually false. Like in cross-cultural surveys in multiple countries across all demographics, members of our church are happier, live longer, generally have better employment for longer, maintain having more children in spite of making more money. They don't have the pocketbook contraception, it's called. You know, like the fringe benefits of being an active member of the church. You're more likely to marry somebody that's not from your hometown because our community fosters so much human interaction and community with other people. Like the stats on every single factor that you, like humankind has figured out you can measure are just better for members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But he's saying that you're going to be miserable and die, and then the only blessing
way
you're
is
going to get out of it.
Yeah.
The only blessing you're going to get out of it is meeting me and my 5 friends.
Yep. Exactly.
At a price of $25 an hour or whatever he charges for his faith crisis
And
coping.
that's where you're getting at. Yeah.
You know, so anyway, this is so a con man used to be called a confidence man because he could say unverifiable things. where there was no verification. And what's funny is now with the internet, the hilarious part is, I think it's Anti-Mormon rule number 12, is they always accuse you of that which they are woefully guilty of themselves. Their narrative is that, the Mormon church was lying until the internet caught up with them and their lies couldn't be hidden anymore. The truth is John DeLynn is lying. He's lying about what will happen to you if you maintain your activity in the Mormon church throughout your adult years. And the only person that has to worry about verification is him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because none of what he said was true. None of it could be corroborated by science unless you do like fake surveys that apparently he did for his dissertation that a bunch of anti-Mormons at like Weber State said, oh yeah, we love this. We'll sign off on whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? So, internet polls of
horrible. Yeah.
800 of your buddies that were all summoned there by ex-Mormon subreddit. That does not count as science.
Yep.
Nobody would pay money for that and actually invest in that if it were for some company market survey. All right. So here we go. Let's keep going.
Rest of your life, because all of us were captivated under undue influence by false pretenses. And so when you escape from a high demand religion, you are given an incredible amount of time and energy and resources that you get to spend, and money that you get to spend.
Who gives you money?
No,
I think he's saying on your tithing?
Yes, you get that 10% back and you get to spend it on what you want.
Yeah, never mind that statistically, religious people are far better at saving money. Their long-term financial situation is generally better. And it's hilarious. It's almost like by paying your tithing, I found in my life, now I can only speak personally on this one, but by paying my tithing in my life, it's just forced me to be more aware of my finances, what my expenditures are. Gosh, if I have to tithe from my surplus, what is my surplus?
What is your surplus? Yeah.
Gosh. And then when you dive into the numbers, you're like, man, that's expensive. And oh, geez, I spent that much last month on fast food, wait, well, hold on. Okay. Geez, man, I got to get this spending under control. And yeah, sure. Here, 10% for the Lord and hopefully 10% for me in savings, but geez, Louise, I got to watch some things here. Maybe that, I don't know, nice steak I thought I was going to buy or something, maybe I got to wait a few days on that. All right.
No, he's telling you get your time back. You get your money back. You get your life back.
This is all volunteer.
Nobody is forcing me. I joined the church when I was 19. Nobody forced me other than my wife. No, I'm just kidding. No, no one forced me. No one coerced me into the church. I came willingly, knowing what I was getting into.
I just can't. This, it's so toxic. It's just so toxic
and you know
not
what?
Real.
But it works. It's working. And it's because he's saying it with a nice tone. And people are like, yeah, maybe I will be a little bit more free. Maybe I won't have, maybe I'll have that extra 10%. Maybe I'll.
Yeah, he hasn't lost the tone of voice of the stake president talk.
Yeah.
One of the blessings you'll get. Yeah, Trojan horses.
One of the blessings you'll get. This is I felt like this was the prime example of flattering people away from the gospel, because I've had one too many people in my life walk away. And they all say the same thing. I am more free now that I'm out of the church.
So interesting. I would have thought.
What the heck does that even mean?
Oh yeah, no, it's garbage, and it's also short-lived.
Yeah,
it's short-lived. Okay, so now you can do one extra golf session on a Sunday morning. Yeah, at the expense of what? Detaching yourself completely from a community you had no idea how much you depended upon.
Yep.
Because when the crap hits the fan, it's not your golf buddies that you made at the golf course that show up for you. It's the members of your ward and your congregation you can take that to the bank.
When I was laid off for 7 months, the ward took care of us, and we managed through it. But the ward reached out to us. The ward family was a family. You don't realize it until you're in that time of crisis.
And the only people that say this are spoiled, rich suburbanites. And I'm sorry, that's what John DeLynn is. We all know that he's making nearly $250,000, and 60% of his nonprofit that behaves like a nonprofit, 60% of their cash just goes to paying him off. I mean, he's literally who's that pastor that has like, I got 3 Breitling watches.
Oh yeah, gosh,
not Kevin
name?
Applegate.
Copeland? Is that Copeland?
Yeah. Copeland, that's it. This guy is literally the Kevin Copeland. Is it Kevin? What's his first name?
It's Kenneth
Copeland. Yeah, this guy's literally the Kenneth Copeland of anti-religiosity.
Who cares if I got 3 jets, man?
He's made utter millions.
So that's
off
the
of this.
point of this chapter, right? Okay, the flattery, but what is he gaining out of it? He's encouraging faith transition for what?
Yeah, for them to make
promote
money
himself,
and
to promote whoever.
it's-
Like, he's getting rich off of someone else's misery.
Yeah. Wow. Actually, I'm glad, dude. I got lambasted for saying that in the beginning, dude.
And I
people have realized it now, and so they know it's happening. But I got lambasted hard at the beginning for calling him a homewrecker for profit. Yeah, that was those were some dark cancel culture days,
and
man.
honestly, I hate the term faith transition because it's like anytime you have a question or a doubt about the church, you're going through a faith transition. I'm going to help you through that.
Yeah.
Like,
am I going through a traffic transition if
Yeah.
I pull over and ask a cop, so where's Fifth Avenue? You know, it just
no, you're definitely transitioning right now.
Okay, let's let him finish though,
Okay.
because I don't want anybody to say, we took him out of context. This is his own short that he published on his own channel.
You are given an incredible amount of time and energy and resources that you get to spend, and money that you get to spend exactly as you want to. I just promise you that if you seek support and most importantly, get connected to yourself, joy that you cannot imagine awaits on the other side of what feels like a terrible crisis. This faith crisis you're going
Okay, so joy that is unimaginable. Okay, I'm sorry, bro. Like data over dogma. Show me studies that prove that upon leaving the Mormon church that you have, what is the terminology he said here? That was a big sale.
That was
That,
I promise you.
Yeah. Joy.
yourself, joy that you cannot imagine.
Okay. Unimaginable
That's a
joy.
big
This is like Napoleon Dynamite level. Like, I don't think I ever sold
I
Mormonism
promise
that
you all
hard.
your wildest dreams will
Yeah.
come true.
Like that is beyond religious zealotry. I'm a religious zealot, all right? I think any person that goes and serves a mission, you know what I'm saying? Not just because there's some wealthy, spoiled Utah kid that was promised a car by their dad or something, you know, but anybody that goes and dedicates 2 years of their life to go serve in the military, they're a patriot.
Yeah.
They love their country,
Yep.
willing to die for their country. I think any young man that goes out and serves for 2 years, knowing what he was getting into, especially, I think sometimes there's people that definitely view it as like, okay, culturally, this is my people. I need to go represent my people, which I think would actually be kind of like, that kind of crap only happens in Utah, where you can actually have cultural Mormons and they actually think they're Mormons even though they're not.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but out here in the diaspora amongst like real members of the church, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to dog on every Utah. There's plenty of very,
No, but
very
we both
committed.
live outside of the
But
of
we
that.
know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. I think that kind of person is a religious zealot, willing to go preach for 2 years, right? And as a religious zealot on my mission, I never handed people a Book of Mormon and said, unimaginable joy from reading this book. No, look, life is hard. This helps. Good community, truth of God, man are that they might have joy. And yes, you will be more joyous. I don't know if I would jump the shark into unimaginable. Like, I mean, the Lord in his infinite mercy preserves none of us from trials.
Right.
All right. So like unimaginable joy. Wow. That's a tough sell.
That makes me feel like he's saying, after you've come through this, there's going to be no more problems.
By the way, notice how he said, and money.
Yeah.
Like, that was really funny. Watch this again.
In many ways, the gift that comes out on the other side truly is the best friendships, the best marriages, the best identity, and the most joy you could ever imagine if you'll just lean into this. But the biggest gift of
The biggest one.
a Mormon faith
biggest gift.
crisis
The biggest one.
is the rest of your life. because all of us were captivated under undue influence by false pretenses. And so when you escape from a high demand religion, you are given an incredible amount of time and energy and resources that you get to spend, and money. That you get to spend
I can't forget
as
it.
you want to. I just promise you.
Is that when
if
his
you
Venmo
seek
like
time
link
and
pops up
energy-
there?
Oh, look. I mean, look, I use Venmo just as much as any
No,
other
I'm just
podcaster.
messing. I'm just
But what's
messing.
funny is I'm not lying about my non-501c3 status. I don't operate a nonprofit for profit and personal financial gain. And if I remember correctly, the accusation was he started his nonprofit in Arizona because it's the only state that allows you to have a single member 501c3 that can receive all the money for the 501c3. I would have to fact check and verify that before I put my stamp of approval on it. But if I remember correctly, that was the accusation by multiple people on him.
Yeah, and here's me threading the needle. John, I don't know your heart.
Oh,
I don't know you, man. But this
it's self-evident,
But
bro.
this is a perfect example of what we're trying to illustrate. Looking for the intent behind the words, the flattery, the platitudes, whatever it is, you are going to have immeasurable joy.
Okay, so we push back on John DeLynn here, but now I'm going to push back on you on this, and just the idea that, well, then why didn't they say platitudes? Why didn't they say in the translation the word for vagaries and for deception? Like, so like, this is why I'm saying I've never felt a connection with, in the Bible, in the Book of Mormon, when it talks about that person that led them away with many flattering words. Cause I'm just like, dude, flattery gets me nowhere,
Yeah.
you know, or
So-
gets nowhere with me, I should say.
And I don't know the answer to that. I know what Korihor said was because what was said was pleasing to the carnal mind. So I assume that the flattery had something to do with pleasing the natural man, the carnal man. So I don't know why the platitude was. I think that was probably an addition. I don't think that was necessarily what was meant. But I think it's this being comfortable in your sin type of flattery.
You know what I also just realized? You know how, because he's totally advocating for atheistic woke social justice, you know? I just realized this was the fall of Eve into the new religion of woke.
Oh.
It is better that we suffer in the wilderness by the sweat of our brow.
So this is a
that
scripture manipulation.
Yeah, dude. So like literally, we just watched the counterfeit
In real time.
of the temple video and the pitch for exaltation towards God. Now we just watched the pitch video of the unexaltation into atheistic, woke, progressive social justice. Like literally, is that like,
No, that's
you
totally
will
what
suffer,
it is.
you will suffer, but it'll be better because there will be joy. The only difference is one is statistically verifiable and the other isn't. Wow. And by
Yeah.
the way, you're not fighting with me on this one, John. You're not fighting with me on this one, Corbin. You're not fighting with me on this one, Bill Reel. You're fighting with Pew Research. You're fighting with thousands of universities and doctorates that have all come out saying, at least like Louise Perry said, Mormons believe in a lot of weird stuff, but it works.
Yeah.
You know,
Stop telling
so-
me I'm not joyful, because man, I am joyful.
Yeah. Are you joyful beyond your wildest dreams?
Beyond my wildest imagination.
That's funny. Okay, cool. So anything else here? Anything
Nope,
else on
I
flattery
think-
before we go?
I think that's it.
Okay, cool. So the name of the book, all right, I got everything right here. I got the little mini Chiron right here.
Right.
I got the big Chiron right here. So we're showing this off to everybody. The name of the book is The Antichrist Playbook. The author, okay, is Jeff Borders. And the subject is a guide for young saints to avoid deception and defeat the devil. One of the best alliterations we have seen come out of literature tangential to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in a long time. So go buy the book at plainandpreciouspublishing.com. You guys, listeners of this show, actually have a 2-week head start. I guess you could say a 2-week head start on the book, available just for Ward Radio listeners at the beginning. So make sure you guys check it out at plainandpreciouspublishing.com. And as always, for this and more, please make sure you guys check us out at wardradio.com. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Jeff Borders is great, and his book is available only for us, Ward Radio listeners, for the next 2 weeks at plainandpreciouspublishing.com. So if you want to get a copy of his book, The Antichrist Playbook, make sure that you go to plainandpreciouspublishing.com and pre-order it there, where it's only available to us until their launch event on March 7th, where you'll be able to meet Jeff and Hayden and Jackson, the Plain and Precious guys. All the details will be in a link in the description below. And other than that, if you want to help us out, don't forget to go to wardradio.com, get a hat, maybe get a shirt if you're a person of means, maybe contribute through Venmo or through Zelle. Either way, for this and more, we'll see you again at wardradio.com.